Hey, all you crazy guys and gals out there. It's time once again for Cooking with Daddio. And today, Daddio is going to give you his recipe for cream of mushroom soup. Ooh la la. So, without further ado, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, the person who makes Gordon Ramsay quiver in his boots, Daddio. Alright guys, and welcome to another edition of Cooking with Daddio. Today, I'm going to give you my recipe for cream of mushroom soup. Now, with this recipe, I'm not going to give you exact measurements. I hardly ever exact measure things myself. And I think that's part of the fun of cooking, is the experimentation of this kind of thing. You know, a pinch here, a pinch there, just a quick little pour, all that kind of stuff. When it comes to baking, my dog's going crazy back here. When it comes to baking, I'll measure, because with like your breads and your cakes and stuff like that, your measurements are a lot more precisely needed. So, here we go. Your ingredients you're going to need for cream of mushroom soup. You're going to need, of course, mushrooms, onion, celery, salt, onion salt, minced garlic, garlic pepper, water, milk, flour, butter, Parmesan cheese, if I didn't already say that, and, you might find this one kind of funny, pineapple and grapes. So, now, I find that the pineapple and grapes, I actually came across this by accident once when I was cooking at the restaurant I used to work at, and pineapple and grapes got into my cream mushroom soup, and it was one of the best things that ever happened. So, if you don't like it, you don't like it, throw it out, or give it to the homeless shelter or something like that, and then make something new. So, here we go. Now, with the butter and flour, you're going to make a roux. I will give you kind of a measurement with that. For the roux, you want 1 part butter to 2 to 3 parts flour. And this is going to be your thickening agent. This is how you're going to thicken your soup up towards the end. Cream of mushroom soup, that's how you're going to get the cream part. Okay, 1 part butter to 2 to 3 parts flour, depending on how much you want it thick. 1 part butter to 2 parts flour, not as thick as 1 part butter to 3 parts flour. So, now what you're going to do, also with the water and milk, we're going to part that out. 2 parts water to 1 part milk. So, you're going to take your onion and your celery, you're going to dice it up real fine, okay? And just a small amount is all you need. We're just trying to add just a little flavor to it. You're going to put that with your salt, onions, your onion salt, your minced garlic, your garlic pepper, and your onion and your celery. You're going to put those all together, and you're going to add some stock. Now, I prefer chicken stock. And real quick here, for your chicken stock, here's something you can do. If you find that like your bouillon cubes or your little tubs of chicken stock are real salty, and they can be, get a can of chicken broth. If you're in a hurry, this is fine. You know, instead of having to make your own broth, you know, get a whole chicken carcass and boil all that with all your ingredients. Yeah, just get a can of chicken broth. Now, you shouldn't use the whole can, but what you're going to do with that can so you don't waste any of it is maybe the night before, take it, pour the contents into an ice cube tray, and freeze it. Now, from that point, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and you're going to take the ice cubes out, or your broth cubes, and you're going to put 3 or 4 for your soup, and then take the rest in a baggie, put in your freezer, and they'll be good for like 6 months. So, you got your broth, your onion, your celery, your seasonings cooking. You want those to come to a boil in your pot, and it shouldn't boil too long. We don't want to, you know, sear or burn anything. Once that's happened, or while that's happening, you can take your pineapple and your grapes and chop them up real fine. Now, as far as pineapple and grapes go, you only need like maybe a small handful of grapes, maybe 7 or 8. Chop them up real fine. Pineapple, can of crushed pineapple, like a quarter of that can of crushed pineapple is all you need. So, and then your mushrooms. Mushrooms, you can get them pre-sliced or slice them yourself. That's up to you. So, once that comes to a boil, I'm going to add my water and my pineapple and my grapes and my mushroom. Now, let that come to a boil. Once that's come to a boil, and I only let it boil for a couple minutes, maybe 3 at the most. Once that's happening, I go ahead and I put in my milk. Now here's where you have to constantly stir and stir and stir, because your milk is going to scorch if you don't. So you have all your ingredients going on there, just coming to a boil, and you throw in your Parmesan. Now again, your Parmesan's there for flavoring. It's not cream of Parmesan soup, so don't go crazy with it. Okay, if you get one of those little craft containers of Parmesan cheese to put in your spaghetti, you know, shake, shake, shake 5 or 6 times. There you go. That's all you need. So stir that, because now you have more milk. You have your Parmesan and your milk together, and you don't want that to scorch. Once that comes to a boil, let it come to a boil. Let it go for about 2 to 3 minutes. Again, I don't like to let things boil too long, because I don't want to get, you know, a mush soup. So once that's come to a boil, I'll take my roux and slowly stir that in also. Now, when I say slowly, I'm stirring fast, but I'm slowly adding the roux in. I don't want to get cream of mushroom soup with dumplings, which, you know, roux will do basically. It will just turn into a dumpling. So you want to stir vigorously while you're adding the roux. And then once you've got it all in there, stir for a couple more minutes, let it come back to a quick boil, maybe a minute tops, and then take it off the stove. Take it off the stove, and then if you want to thicken it real quick, you can put it in your sink full of ice water. I'll give it an ice bath, and that'll make it thicken up real fast, because your soup's cooling down, but not to a point where it's not servable. So, or just let it set for a second, and it'll thicken up right then. But there you have it, cream of mushroom soup, done daddio style. Have a good night.